Merhaba, and welcome back to the Ottoman campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. So these four battlecruisers are once again in combat, so I'm glad I tried to not waste too much ammo on them last battle. I also have all of my destroyers and torpedo boats still in the squadron. They survived last time. Cruisers should be a bit short on ammunition, but it should be okay. So what are we up against? Now the French only have 2 destroyers. Last time they only had 1. Their light cruisers do not carry torpedoes. Okay. One of them does. Fine. But these 4 don't. That's, I probably don't have to worry too much about torpedoes. The heavy cruisers do have them. But apart from this one, all of them are underwater tubes, so I shouldn't be facing like huge spreads of them. But they're battleships and battlecruisers. Look at this. These battlecruisers have 8 14-inch guns. I have 8 17s on mine. Theirs are bigger. They're a little bit faster, but they're also 3 times the cost of my Yavuz class. But they're probably quite modern, I think. So those 14-inch guns should be at least Mark IV, possibly Mark V. Same with the 13s on the Magenta class. They're only 13s, but if they're 13 Mark Vs, they might well outrange my 17s. Ironically, the one battleship with the 18-inch guns is the one I don't worry too much about. So let's see what we can do. Alright, and just when I thought the 4 double turret main gun arrangement meant that the French had built something like traditional ABXY layout, it apparently looks like this. So, but just because it's ugly doesn't mean it's bad. Right, let's get the stuff organized. All my battlecruisers are in 1 division. That's good. Heavy cruisers are in 2. That's a bit annoying. Let's remember to turn the torpedoes off. They don't have too many torpedoes. Slow them down. Let the battleships pass out in front of them. Merrick has been completely rearmed. The destroyers have been completely rearmed, it seems. Yeah, 30 torpedoes each. And I'm pretty sure I emptied these last battle, so... And torpedo boats are completely rearmed. That's good to see. I might need those torpedoes. Let's take a look at what we're up against. Magenta. That's decent looking. That's a big battleship to only be armed with 13-inch guns, but they are Mark Vs. 2 powder 2, TNT 2, only 29-kilometer main gun range. Good armor. Semi-AP. And base fuse HG. That's why the range is bad. That and 2 powder 2. Alright. Yeah, Gen 2 radar. That should be accurate at range. What's your pen on those 13s? Not good, because of the semi-AP. You might struggle with my extended belts at range. What is my extended belt armor on these? 4 fore and aft belt. 1 fore and aft deck. Okay. At max range, you can go through my 4.5 decks. One with the 18s, Mark 3s. Almost the same range. Thicker armor. Now these two, I am curious. Are these Mark 4? Okay. Capped AP. Better pen than the 13s. Slightly better range. Right. What about armor? 14 main belt, 4.5 main deck. And only Citadel 3. So the main deck only has one Citadel layer behind it. Which is equal to 5.4. Can I go through 5.4? Possibly. It only shows me up to 30,000 meters. About 34, maybe. Right, so I do have the range advantage. That's good to know. And they go bonk. Against a cruiser that has to maneuver to get in behind the other cruisers that didn't start in the same division. I'm not going to micro it. They can figure it out. Push that light cruiser out of the way. Okay, let's select some targets for those big 17-inch guns. The battlecruisers are staying out of range. What kind of torpedo range? 12.7. Come on. There we go. We'll have two ships focusing each of the enemy battleships. And then the cruisers can deal with the destroyers once they get closer. And some of them are already in range. The closest one. Scoring some big hits. Right, you guys can speed up and just start following the battlecruisers. Do I dare slow down the battlecruisers, or are they just gonna mess up the formation? Torpedo boats. I want to be targeting everything at the battleships because they are on the more predictable path. Destroyers, are you in range of anything? You are. Let's show these cruisers some love too. Alright, torps off. Not forget about this cruiser. Yeah, we got a lot of torpedo hits out of that. We're at 9 thus far. We're not half done yet. Magenta has actually taken a lot of damage from those 17-inch guns. I was just too busy playing with my torpedoes to pay attention. And the torpedoes from the destroyers are now starting to hit. Up to 20 torpedo hits. We're gonna get a couple more. We absolutely nuked a light cruiser. 4 torpedo hits. Those all the torpedoes, I think, yes. Even the light cruiser scored a couple torpedo hits. Magenta is still afloat. Let's show the battlecruiser some love too. Torpedo boats are back together. Who's hurt? You. Yeah. So these 3 can still go at their maximum speed. Minus a little bit for the sea state, but that's typical. No, they are bunching up. The cruising speed is actually quite impressive. 30.6. You guys, let's put your guns to save. You're kind of low on ammo. Still focusing those destroyers, that's cool. Maybe like this? Sure. The stories, you can just do donuts here until I need you. Make sure that if the enemy is following my light cruiser, at least they're not just getting kited off the map. One destroyer down. This destroyer is also down. Let's put the cruiser torpedoes to use. Let's not forget about them this time. There, they're all spent. Might get some hits. Okay, I'm gonna have to put these battlecruisers up to max speed. One battleship sunk. Come on, let me actually select you, stupid game. Yeah, finished off by 17.5 inch heads. I might get some torpedo hits on these cruisers. These torps are probably not gonna hit anything. Near a bow. Pick a torpedo. Nice. And who knows, might get some more hits here. Probably not on Magenta. Torpedo boats already again. Let's bring them in. I'm not sure if my battlecruisers have enough ammunition to sink this entire French task force. Destroyers are almost ready again. Let's form up. And those torpedoes should be ready by the time they're in position. Yeah, their chance to hit is high enough that they're gonna be firing even if I set them to save. So that's not gonna make much of a difference. Do want to reselect some targets though, because Magenta is pretty much out of the fight. And we sank one of the battleships already. So it's time to start focusing the enemy battlecruisers. Not quite in torpedo range. We're getting there. And because they have radar, my smoke screens are not hiding my destroyers, not at all. But it should at least impart a little penalty to the enemy accuracy. That one's gonna hit. Yeah, 09, you are out of here. But if you can get to within range of that battlecruiser and launch first, at least get some use out of those torpedoes. There we go. Good. Torpedo boats are approaching from the other flank. And were they just hidden there? No, I don't know. For a second it looked like it said they lost sight of my torpedo boats. But that could be the case. They're much smaller than the destroyers and harder to spot. It could be that the smoke screen would hide them even from radar at that range. But maybe not. Let's turn off the low priority stuff. Okay. Now we got range. But they're like all sailing in random directions. The gnome is pretty much dead in the water. So it should be like a little bit predictable where it's gonna sail. If I target a light cruiser and it's like doing a turn when the torpedoes are launched, they're gonna end up somewhere far away from the cluster of enemy ships. And that's no good. Doing saturation launches here. The particular target that I'm targeting is not really that important. And these cruisers are also hurt. They shouldn't be sailing too quickly or be too fast. All torps are spent. Let's see, are these actually gonna be... no. Even targeting the gnome. Maybe we're gonna have more luck with the torpedo boat torpedoes, and that looks like it's the case. Might be nailing Corrigan here. Possibly Triumph as well. No, Corrigan got away. The Halberd shielded her. Took 5 torpedoes for that battlecruiser. So we nuked 2 heavy cruisers, but the battlecruisers got away light. Now 1 torpedo hit on Triumph. How many in Corrigan? 2. That was a bad target selection from the destroyers. Torpedo boats kind of made up for it though. Okay. What can I do with my remaining battlecruiser ammunition? First of all, these are the closest targets. Magenta is a expensive ship. It should be prioritized. And it's almost sunk already, so it shouldn't take too many hits, I think. Just a little tickle here on the aft belt. It barely has an aft belt. We are out of HE. Actually, no. Yavuz Sultan Salim has plenty of HE left. So Yavuz and Kamal, you're swapping targets. Because I think HE on the stern here, on what little aft belt they have. There we go. Aft belt pen and flooding. Exactly what I wanted. And that should be enough, yeah. Floatability is going down. That was another aft belt pen with HE just for good measure. Now you lose. They're firing at Corrigan. I got 2 ships firing at Corrigan. PD days, you can switch to Triumph. Let's see how triumphant you are. With some attention from my 17-inch guns. One of their heavy cruisers had deck launchers. Here you are. 13.5 kilometer electrics, by the looks of it. Heavy cruisers are all dry. Completely. No torpedoes, no main gun ammunition. Also secondary ammunition, but let's not get that desperate. Ooh. Aft belt pen on Kemal Reis. We took out a main gun on Triumph. Didn't explode though. So we got tube powder 3. Even with Dunite, that should be plenty safe. We might sink Corrigan. Yeah, she's flooding. That was a huge hit. Main belt pen for 10,000. .6 on the second inner belt. Yeah, no, we can pen that. Now Triumph is actually fighting back and scoring hits. But I think that's the end of her. Yeah. She's not gonna control that flooding. So we're gonna select some new targets here. Let her sink. There she goes. And instantly Mirabeau. What a flash fire. I was about to say she took some big hits, but more than just that. Launched a turret in the air. That's good enough, I think. Now they really have no more guns that can actually threaten my battlecruisers. There we go. One target for each ship. Bring you in closer. Some of these ships have plenty of ammunition left. Some of them are almost dry. And that is the end of Gnome. Not a Gnoblin. Okay, so Arbalete has 2 ships targeting her. This guy is coming close. 20-kilometer torpedoes. Maybe someone should do something about that. She just launched. Now she took hits. But those torpedoes already hit the water. 47 knots. Late game oxygen torpedoes are really fast. To the point that there's no point in picking fast torpedoes. Electric still have a place. Just because they're even more stealthy. But overall, I think they're worse. Like, once you get the oxygen torpedoes, those are the ones you just pick for everything. So I guess electrics don't have a place. Never mind. Did you launch your torpedoes, or did you, you ran out of ammunition for the torpedo tubes? That means you launched them. I didn't blow them off. We're gonna have to maneuver again. If I don't want to end up eating enemy torpedoes. Yeah, I know that's gonna mess up my accuracy, but doing all these maneuvers. Big hits on the Vercingetorix. Kemal Reis, out of ammunition. Yavu Sultan Selim has quite a bit of ammunition left. Beli Kasir too, and Piri Reis. It's just Kemal Reis being empty. So, we can go home. I can bring these three in closer. Pick out your targets. Secondary guns on Soleil. These don't have the heaviest secondary battery though. No, they got some 6-inch guns somewhere. Where are they? Okay, yeah. Got 4 6.1-inch guns per broadside. That's not really too impressive. But it's a battlecruiser. It's fine. There we go. Vercingetorix for a belt pen. With HE, I guess. Actually set the secondary guns on Gorgon. Knock out some of those torpedo launchers, maybe. That is the end of Vercingetorix. Okay, we had some incoming torpedoes. At least one. But it didn't do anything. Okay, we have a cluster of targets here. This is, let's not have this chance get away from us. Everything on Arbalete. And Gorgon is gonna eat a bunch of hits from that, I think. Can we avoid these torpedoes by just slowing down? Or is Yavu's gonna take that one? Yeah. And there we go. As foretold, Gorgon ate all of that. Yeah, you might have gotten me with the torpedo. But at what cost? Is that even Gorgon launching that torpedo? It couldn't be Arbalete because you have no torpedoes. I guess it was. You have not scored any torpedo hits. So then who was it? Were those from Soleil? Maybe. Launched a long time ago and just took a while to arrive. Anyway, they have one light cruiser left. Barely afloat. There she goes. Right. Actually, very little damage taken in return. 29,000 in total taken. And that includes the 10,000 from the torpedo right at the end. So, yeah, not bad. If they just had picked a different type of ammunition for this battleship with the 13s, she'd have probably 35-kilometer range, at least. And maybe it wouldn't have made a big difference, but I definitely take a lot more damage in return. Because I'd be taking fire all the time, instead of outraging them barely. But yeah, 800,000 victory points. Nice. Alright, we have a huge one here in the Caribbean. My old dreadnoughts are getting to fight. Now, they may be old, but all these with the 16s, they got Mark 5s. So I'm pretty sure they outrange whatever this is, the BBB. And the Crown Colony, the Northumberlands. We've seen these before. I think they've got Mark 3 20-inch guns. Viper class. I don't know about that. That might be brand new. Could be Mark 4 18s, I don't know. If they are Mark 3s, that shouldn't be a big problem. Linnet class. So both of these have 200% armor quality. That kind of suggests that they are at least not very old. Whether or not their guns are up to spec, I don't know. We'll have to find out next time, I guess. It's a huge fleet we're up against. Urchin class DD. I forget what kind of torpedo range they have. We got, of course, 4 destroyers and 4 torpedo boats of our own. So, yeah. One of these old armored cruisers. Right. So this could be a fight. It very much depends on what kind of 18-inch guns these are. We'll find out next time. Goodbye, and take care.